Hello, my name is Katie Bloom, and I represent Regent University. I'm going to be doing a presentation of Mimetic Desire, a Gerardian reading of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Introduction. William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream offers an exploration of the complexities of love, portraying desire as a force that is enchanting, bewildering, and deeply conflicted. The play's fantasy elements and light-hearted comedy give the impression of a simple, playful treatment of romance and attraction, but beneath its exterior lies profound engagement with the social dynamics that underlie desire, such as its formation, imitation, and the rivalries that it sparks, and its resolution. These dynamics reveal how desire is not purely individual, but is shaped and mediated through social relationships and cultural contexts. To understand this, René Girard's mimetic theory illuminates how desire is fundamentally imitative and rooted in social comparison and rivalry, which generates tension, conflict, and violence, leaving a potential for reconciliation and community, as is often the pattern in these plays. Applying this theoretical lens of mimetic theory to A Midsummer Night's Dream enriches our reading by uncovering deeper social forces at work behind its romantic entanglement and comedic episodes. Through text analysis, consideration of Julie Taymor's production, and exploring contemporary perspectives like the Folger Library podcast, this essay extends Girard's interpretation beyond theory. It explores the play as a performative inquiry into desire's paradoxes, where love and irrationality and rivalry coexist with potential for reconciliation. In doing so, it reveals A Midsummer Night's Dream as a study of the human condition and sociality through the lens of mimetic desire. René Girard's mimetic theory, desire as imitation and rivalry. René Girard's mimetic theory shines light on the idea that human desire is imitative. We desire objects because others desire them, not because we do. Positioning desire in triangular relationships, a subject who desires an object, a subject who desires, an object desired, and a mediator whose desire is imitated. Girard writes, "Desire is not really mine. It's a desire for what the other desires, a desire for the object that the other desires." Girard, The Art of Envy, page 23. This can result in rivalry as multiple subjects vie for the same object, producing conflict and tension. Girard emphasizes the social consequences of mimetic desire, noting rivalry may lead to violence and chaos. Societies develop mechanisms which often include scapegoating in order to resolve such crises by projecting violence onto the chosen victim, restoring social order. Girard, 75-79. Girard's primary focus has been on the sacrificial violence and myth. His theory is equally applicable to romantic desire, which also involves imitation, rivalry, and mediation. In A Theater of Envy, Girard discusses Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, highlighting how the play stages mimetic desire as a comedy with serious implications. This paper builds on Girard's analysis, arguing that Shakespeare not only dramatizes mimetic desires dynamics, but also explores how desire's imitative nature complicates identity and social relations. The structure of desire, a love triangle of imitation and rivalry. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, there are intertwined love triangles central to the plot that exemplify Girard's theory by revealing how desire is imitated, transferred, and rivalrous, leading to the confusion, conflict. Initially, Hermia and Lysander desire each other, while Hermia's father demands she marry Demetrius, who pursues Hermia. Helena, in love with Demetrius, imitates his desire, and even though he rejects her, completing a complex network of imitation and rivalry. Helena's declaration, "The more I love thee, the more he hateth me," captures the asymmetry of mimetic desire, which intensifies rivalry. Hermia and Lysander desire Hermia, partly because Demetrius desires her, making Demetrius both a rival and a model. Helena desires Demetrius because Demetrius desires Hermia, making Helena's desire twice mediated. When Puck's magic potion causes Lysander to desire Helena, The play literalizes desire's mimetic transfer, showing the instability and dependence on outside influence. The triangular subject-object model produces tension and comedy. The character's desires are less about intrinsic value than about social context in which desire circulates. As Gerard notes, the beloved is never really the object. He or she is the model. Gerard, 30. The play reinforces this, showing how desire's object is significant, mostly because it's desired by others. Social hierarchy and authority. Hermia's refusal to marry Demetrius is framed by Athenian law and patriarchal authority, introducing the social mediation of desire. The insistence that Demetrius marry Hermia represents a model of desire imposed from above. Hermia's flight into the enchanted forest symbolizes resistance to social mimetic constraints on desire. Gerard's theory, while focusing on individual rivalry, acknowledges the role of social structures in mediating desire. Hermia's conflict highlights how desire is entangled with social power norms, as dictated by authority figures. Demetrius's initial status reflects social approval rather than pure affection, underscoring the interplay of personal desire and social prescription. Helena's mimicry of Demetrius's desire, despite his scorn, reflect social dynamics of gender and power. Her self-critical ways reveal how mimetic desire leads to putting others' needs and wants before oneself to a detrimental degree, exposing the instability of desire under social pressure. Identity, a crisis of self. Gerard argues mimetic desire shapes identity as individuals model their desires and selves after others. Gerard, 27. The characters' shifting affections create fluid, unstable identities. Helena's self-worth is defined by her desire for Demetrius, despite his rejection. Lysander's transfer of desire to Helena while under the potion creates confusion and jealousy, causing characters to question themselves. Hermia's distress at Lysander's betrayal underscores this identity crisis. This illustrates Gerard's claim that the self is always already mediated by others. Gerard, 27. This imitation fractures stable identities, compelling characters to navigate between authentic selves and mimetic influence. This comedy highlights this dilemma, with confusion and humor. The Enchanted Forest, desire's contagion. The Enchanted Forest serves as more than just a backdrop for romantic confusion. Removed from the hierarchies and laws of Athens, the forest represents an in-between space where social norms are suspended and desire is directionless. The setting allows for amplified irrational passions, particularly under the influence of Puck's intervention, which act as a catalyst for, rather than the cause of mimetic tension. René Girard's theory of mimetic contagion shows that desire is not original but imitative. We desire what others desire, leading to rivalry, instability, and potential violence. Girard, 45. The forest becomes a platform for this. Free from oversight, characters mirror one another's affections in chaotic ways, making the normally visible mechanics of mimetic desire visible to the audience. Puck's use of the love potion externalizes this, illustrating how easily desire can be redirected. Lysander is enchanted to love Helena by Puck's potion, mirroring the arbitrary and unstable nature of mimetic desire. Demetrius's enchantment furthers the spiral. The men imitate the other's interest in Helena, sparking conflict and confusion. Each man desires her because the other does. The forest is a space where Girard's insights are highlighted, revealing the context to which desire is susceptible to external manipulation and imitation, and how easily affection collapses. The enchantment accelerates a contagion that's already latent within the characters, offering a metaphor for the instability and volatility of desire when detached from social frameworks. Taymor's amplification of mimetic desire. Julie Taymor's 2016 production offers a powerful visualization of Girard's theory, translating his insights into performance. Through visuals enhanced by mirrors, stylized movement, and fluid transitions, Tamor shows desire as a social contagious phenomenon. Tamor's direction ensures that this is visible. The most striking device used to convey this mirroring, both literal and metaphorical, on stage, the lovers particularly reflect each other's gestures in synchronized ways, illustrating the triangular structure of mimetic desire. Girard notes that desire is always aroused by the desire of another, Girard 9, and Tamor's blocking makes this tangible. For example, Lysander is enchanted and pursues Helena. His posture and inflection mimic Demetrius's behavior, blurring the lines between original desire and imitation. Tamor often places the men in symmetrical positions, reinforcing their shared competitive object of desire. In scenes of conflict, particularly the love quadrangle in Act 3, the characters' movements form an echo chamber of desire that ricochets from one lover to the next, creating a chain reaction of rivalry. This gives a visual from Girard's insight that mimetic desire inevitably leads to characters losing individuality as they mirror each other's emotions and intentions. Girard 163. Tamor depicts the forest as a space that emphasizes instability of desire. It is suspended between dream and reality as curtains ripple, actors fly on silks, and the stage shifts in light and in form, suggesting identity and emotion are in flux. As characters become enchanted, their desires transform, reflecting the instability of mimetic desire detached from social regulations. This aligns with Girard's description of mimetic conflict. In the absence of order, as soon as desire is freed from constraint, it turns into a firestorm of imitation. Girard 161. Tamor's forest is a space where roles, affections, and hierarchies collapse under the pressure of imitation. Puck is a key figure in Tamor's interpretation of mimetic desire as a manipulator of desire and a theatrical stand-in for Girard's external mediator. Girard 16. Detecting the character's passions form a position of amused detachment. Tamor often positions Puck outside the action in the main stage as a puppet master of mimetic confusion. His enchantments are symbolic of how desire can be distorted through imitation. The characters like Girard mimic subjects. The characters, like Girard's mimetic subjects, do not know what they want because they want what others want. Girard 9. Tamor's use of doubling and transforming characters and transformation as characters enter from mirrored sides of the stage or shifting identities through costume and light amplifies the theme of desire as performative and unstable. Lovers appear interchangeable in their romantic confusion, becomes a commentary on the fragile construction of self under mimetic pressure. Individuality erodes in the face of collective imitation. As Girard suggests, the closer the rivals become, the more indistinguishable they are. Girard 162. By making these mimetic tensions visible in movement and spatial relationships of the characters, Tamor brings Girard's theory to life. The audience does not simply hear about mimetic desire, they witness it and confront its implications. Tamor's production acts as a case study on how desire functions, not as an inner truth, but as a social performance shaped by rivalry, illusion, and the desperate attempt to differentiate in a world of relentless mirroring. Gender, power, and mimetic desire. Girard illuminates gender power dynamics at play. Female desires are shaped not only by imitation, but by structural subordination within a patriarchal social order. Helena's pursuit of Demetrius is an example of mimetic desire intertwined with gender dominance. She imitates Hermia's desirability because Demetrius desires Hermia, and in turn she diminishes herself. Her admission, "I am your spaniel. The more you beat me, I will fawn on you," reveals how a woman's longing is often socially mediated by male approval. When she muses, "Love looks not with eyes but with the mind," and therefore is a winged Cupid painted blind, Helena acknowledges love's irrationality but is trapped by mimetic pull. Her desire is a personal longing and a social performance formed by power relations and expectations. Hermia's resistance embodies a struggle against patriarchal models of desire. Her insistence on choosing Lysander challenges social norms. This rebellion can be read as an assertion of authentic desire in opposition to mimetic imposition. Hermia declared that she would rather die than relinquish control over her own body. So I will grow to live, so I will grow, so live, so die, ere I yield my virgin patient up unto his lordship. This defiance challenges the patriarchal model that frames women as property or wax figures to be imprinted or disfigured by fathers or dukes. Hermia's decision to elope with Lysander stands as an authentic desire in opposition to mimetic imposition. As scholars note, her autonomy is limited in her case. One male authority figure replaces the last. Girard's framework says desire is mediated by others, but in Elizabethan society, those mediators are male. Girard's emphasis on desire, intersected with feminist critique, shows that females' will is filtered through paternal and sovereign authority. The forest offers temporary liberation for Hermia, but restored order in Athens reaffirms hierarchical norms for women, where mimetic desire reveals not individual longing, but complex negotiations of power, gender, and agency. Girard's focus on desire's social mediation reveals tension between individual will and social power for women in Elizabethan society. The play exposes desire is embedded with hierarchical relations, complicating free will and authenticity, magical interventions, and the ritual of peace. Puck's role as a trickster and a mediator enacts intervention, disrupting escalating rivalry and paving the way for restored harmony. His mischief amplifies mimetic desire as characters fall in and out of love under the influence of the potion. However, his reversal of the spell functions like an antidote for chaos. This act is magical, theatrical, and serves as a ritual of containment, curbing the spread of mimetic violence before it becomes destructive. The forest is a space of transformation and allows for suspension of social norms where disorder can be explored and resolved. In this sense, the magical ritual dramatizes the social need to interrupt cycles of rivalry through symbolic, non-violent means, and is a theatrical version of Girard's sacrificial subordination that aims not to expel, but to reintegrate. Communal marriage and social reintegration. The play's conclusion, a triple wedding, functions as a ritual of social reintegration. These unions are symbolic acts that absorb and neutralize prior conflicts. By uniting couples whose desires once clashed, the play sacrifices the threat of rivalry and transforming it into a stable society, into stable, socially sanctioned relationships. The Duke's Blessing offers a public endorsement that restores patriarchal and civic authority, reestablishing order through ritual celebration. This resolution mirrors René Girard's concept of the scapegoat mechanism, where social violence is redirected or diffused to preserve the group. Instead of an actual scapegoat or an act of violence, Shakespeare substitutes comic misdirection and forgiveness. Puck's final appeal to the audience to view the play as a dream adds a layer of symbolic resolution, inviting reflection instead of punishment. In doing so, A Midsummer Night's Dream presents an optimistic alternative to the consequences of mimetic rivalry, offering vision to which desire can be restructured into harmony through laughter, transformation, and communal blessing. Critical Perspectives, Folger's Podcast, and Contemporary Views. Folger's library podcast, Myths About Shakespeare and Recounting Shakespeare's Life, emphasize the play's exploration of love's irrationality and social context. They note Shakespeare's use of comedy to probe instability of desire and intensify desire and identity resonate with Girardian themes of mediation and rivalry, myths about Shakespeare. The podcast highlights the historical context of Elizabethan social norms and gender roles, enriching the understanding of the play's mimetic dynamics in within its cultural movement. Conclusion. Though René Girard's mimetic theory in Midsummer Night's Dream emerges as a theatrical exploration of desire, inherently imitative social nature, the love triangles dramatize how desire is not is not an isolated or personal feeling, but shaped by imitation, rivalry, and social mediation. Their These are processes that generate profound identity, conflict, and social tensions among characters. The enchanted forest and the use of the love potion underscores the unstable qualities of desire, highlighting its capacity to disrupt social norms and relationships. Meanwhile, the play's comedic resolution serves as a symbolic ritual revolving around mimetic conflicts through reconciliation and restored social harmony. Engaging Gerard's theoretical insights alongside Shakespeare's text and contemporary interpretations, including Julie Taymor's production, and discussions from the Folger Shakespeare Library podcast, this analysis broadens our understanding of the play. It moves beyond romantic comedy to reveal inquiry into the complexities of human desire, the fragile nature of social order, and the process through which reconciliation is achieved in this way. In this way, Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream stands as a vital cultural text offering timeless reflections of the paradoxes of love and the intricate social dynamics that shape and define it. Thank you.